Hi everyone, this is Amina for another episode of Wise Wednesdays. Today we're talking about why it's okay to be different. If you're listening to this, you may be a mission-driven, service-driven professional. You want to make a difference in the world. You feel you have gifts to share, but you somehow feel stifled. You somehow feel held back. And if you're someone who is like that, then you're used to trying to fit in. You're used to trying to do the right thing. You're used to trying to get external validation to guide you into what to do next. However, this is in tension, and a lot of inner conflicts can arise as a result with the desire to self-express, to be powerful, to be who you are unapologetically, and without having to ask for permission from others. Now, it's kind of healthy to have this tension between the desire to belong and the desire to be completely unique and individual. And working it out slowly over time with kindness and compassion for yourself and for others and the human condition is what leads to discoveries, what leads to creative solutions to obstacles in life, and helps you become more of who you really are. It's kind of this friction leads to sparks of creativity, ideas that can then translate into something interesting in your life. So it's okay to feel inattention, but it doesn't have to be suffering. It doesn't have to be extended. It doesn't have to be amplified with self-criticism and negative thinking. And one of the things I want to share with you today is 6 reasons or 6 ideas that can hopefully take some of that sting out of the tension between wanting to belong and do the right things according to society at least, or according to your organization or your boss, and wanting to be unique and express things exactly how you experience them unfiltered. So, number 1, when you step out and you are willing to be more of who you are and less of who you think you should be, you start to experience more of what I call liberating fulfillment rather than box-ticking achievement. So you start to, every time you take action that's aligned with who you are deeply and less of what you think you should be, you feel a kind of release and a liberation, and that's a sign you're on the right track. Before you feel that, you might feel some fear, you might feel some anxiety, but something deep in you, you can call it your intuition, a small voice within, is guiding you and whispering it's okay, you can go forward. And it's a kind voice, it's not a harsh voice. So as you follow that voice, you become more of who you are, and you feel this liberating fulfillment as a reward. It's a byproduct. And this is in contrast to what happens when you're ticking boxes, doing what is expected of you, that doesn't really resonate with you, but it keeps you in the system, it keeps you getting rewarded in traditional ways, and it feels kind of empty. Even if you have a sense of achievement because you got, higher status, more money or something like that, if it's not in alignment with who you really are, what you really want, what you're really meant to be, it will feel kind of empty after a while, and you have this kind of anticlimax to the initial success. Number 2, when you're stepping out on your path and being who you really are, you start to feel strong, even if you're tired. So you may experience ups and downs on your your own path, your authentic path. And you may have to go through periods of hard work or trial, or it's not always hard physical work, it can be hard inner work, so emotionally kind of intense, because you're facing some of the barriers and blocks that were stopping you from being who you really want to be, and pushing you into being who you think you should be. So you may feel tired in a way, but you'll feel grounded. You'll feel like you're connected to yourself, to the earth. You're here in the present moment, and it gives you a kind of feeling of strength, of being rooted rather than being flustered, lost in your thoughts, spinning thoughts over a long period of time, and kind of feeling foggy and just out of balance. So you will, another byproduct of stepping into who you are is that you feel more grounded and strong and here and present. Number 3 is when you're being who you really are, when you connect with people, you may not connect with everyone. You may go from being the popular joker person to being a bit more reserved. Or you might go from being reserved to connecting with some really exciting, interesting people. But it's not about the numbers necessarily. It's about the quality of the relationships. And if you think about it, more and more people are feeling, especially in big cities, feel isolated, feel lonely, and feel disconnected. And there's kind of a thirst for deep connection, for real intimacy. And it can be even with people who are already in your life, with people, with your family, with your friends. There's a yearning to have a better quality of connection. And so when you're being who you really are, there may be people who move away, who fall back from your world, but there'll be others who come in, and the connection and the quality of relationship with them will be higher. Number 4, when you step into who you are, is you start to inspire others. You start to inspire others, especially if you're in an organization or if you're in a sort of an institution or a large group, a professional group or something. There are rules in those places, and everybody's expected to comply with them, especially in traditional organizations, sort of that are built on an industrial model of creating a workforce that delivers certain tasks rather than more progressive organizations that are that encourage the fulfillment of human potential and human creativity, and see that as an integral part to delivering on the wider organization's mission and hopefully providing societal value, not just profit. So when you start to stand up and step in to more of who you are rather than who you think you should be, you start to inspire others. And if you're a parent, you will know that children tend to take note of what you're doing rather than what you're saying. So you can try and get them to do what you want all day, but they're going to do what they think they should do, or what they feel is right for them, especially if they're younger and haven't yet been completely molded. So how you lead or what you demonstrate by example is much more important than what you're saying. So as you embody this more authentic version of you, people feel it, including children, and you will help them do the same. Number 5, your inner conflicts and inner tensions start to resolve because you're not pulled all the time in two directions. You've committed. And the antidote to doubt, as you've heard me say before, is commitment. Committing, if you don't know what you're doing, commit to not knowing what you're doing in this moment. But commit to being true and honest with what's going on inside you. That's authenticity. Rather than pretending that you're happy where you are, or that what's going on around you is okay and it's just the way it has to be. And having a sense of sort of pessimism and calling it realism, you are honest and say, you know what, I don't think this is right what's going on, or I don't agree with what's going on, I'm not sure I'm in the right place for me, and commit to that truth. You'll know it's your truth because it feels liberating. You feel you're back in the present moment and you feel strong again. So committing repeatedly to what's true for you in this moment, even if it's not having a clue, will start to reduce those inner conflicts and inner tension, because you're not adding another layer of narrative on top of what's true for you, which then starts to pull you in a different direction and create confusion. This is quite a deep sort of experience, so it's difficult to explain in a few moments, but hopefully you get a sense of it. The important things that I want to transmit in my videos is a sense of authenticity, rather than just information and ideas. So finally, number 6, reason it's okay to be different and embrace what is different about you, or what feels different when you're breaking with convention and sort of stepping out of what's expected of you and the rules that are imposed on you, to embrace what's true for you and possibly a new direction for you in your career life. So another byproduct and reason to be happy about it is your creativity will be amplified. And creativity doesn't mean drawing or painting or sculpting or sort of what's traditionally perceived as art or creativity. It's the ability of the brain, it's thought to be a function of the right side of the brain, to associate elements in new ways. So elements that wouldn't normally be put together, your brain brings them together and creates a new idea, a new perspective, and suddenly you've shifted and you're able to look at a situation or a problem in a new way. It's a new way. And that new way can be the key to your next step. But it can't happen if you're busy putting energy into protecting yourself, into meeting expectations, into managing that inner conflict because you don't want to commit necessarily to what's true for you. You kind of still want to you still want to belong at the expense of your own truth. So if you're putting energy into that, you don't have the cognitive space, the emotional capacity to step into something that's true, and that requires a bit of courage, and you don't have the space for new ideas to come in and guide you forward, giving you the answers you've probably been looking for in all the wrong places. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Know that this is a path of courage. So if you're a little bit afraid of moving in a new direction that breaks with your current direction, it's okay. It's going to be a little bit challenging, but if you're listening to this, you probably like a challenge. You're used to facing challenges and you know how to handle them. But this is a different kind of challenge, not one that's given to you or imposed by external expectations. It's one that you're intuiting from inside you as your next direction. All right, well, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or comments or requests for the next video or Wise Wednesdays, please leave me a comment and I will see you soon. Have a great week.